Most of us will never win a professional golf tournament, let alone a major. What is it like to win a U.S. Open?
Well, it definitely changes your life. My life has changed quite a bit since then.
Wyndham Clark, welcome to the Scoop.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm cheersing.
All right, what do we go with? Your request.
I'm a mint chocolate chip guy, pretty original and classic, but I actually love all ice cream.
Okay.
This is kind of my go-to.
I was going to say, I think I saw a photo of you after Pebble Beach, and you had like a big sundae or something at dinner.
That is not normal, so I'm pretty conscious of my diet, but we were at the tap room, and I had some friends there, and we're all hanging out, and one of my friends, I guess, was like, hey, bring out something cool and special, and it was the biggest sundae I've ever seen. And I'm like, I don't want to have that, and then they all pressured me into doing it, and then we got a picture, and it went all over the media, and everyone's like, that's how Wyndham celebrates. I'm like, not normal. But it was
That's
good.
how I would celebrate, so I like it. How did you become a golfer?
It started when I was 3. My mom, as the story goes, I don't really recall a lot of it, but my mom said that my dad was out of town. My brother was just born. My sister was at something, so it was just me, and I guess I was being a little pest around the house, so much energy, wanted to do stuff, and then dealing with a newborn. My mom's like, we got to get him out of the house. And so she started driving to try to take me somewhere to do something, and then she was at the stop sign and saw a Mountain View range, which was this tiny little public hitting, just a driving range and putt-putt course. And she took me there, asked the pro. She knew nothing about golf, and she said, my son wants to hit some golf balls, and got me a bucket of balls. Had no clubs. They got me some. I hit one bucket and said, Mom, can I hit another one? And it turned into about like an hour and a half, 2 hours where I just sat there. And so it was a great kind of reprieve for my mom. And then for me, that's kind of when I fell in love with the game.
I heard, I think, a funny story about your first hole-in-one with a PlayStation. What happened there?
So first hole-in-one when I was 6. This I do remember the entire day. I was 6. We were during 4th of July. It was July 3rd. And we went and played Keystone Ranch Golf Course. It was number 12. And the backstory leading up into that, I wanted a PlayStation. And my dad said, no, you can't. We're not getting you a PlayStation. So I kept begging and begging. And my dad said to give me kind of something to have hope for. He goes, all right, if you make an eagle, when I'm 6 years old, my best score ever was probably a par at this point. So if you make an eagle on this trip, we'll get you a PlayStation. So we get to the 12th hole. It's 125 yards. I pull out driver, and I whack the driver, land short, runs, and then goes in the hole. And I was like, Dad, where'd the ball go? And he goes, it went in the hole. And he's all excited, and I'm all excited. And then I'm like, realize what that means. Then I get really excited because that means I get a PlayStation. And then I kept saying, Dad, now I get a PlayStation. And then that's when my dad went, oh, crap. So that was... at that age, I was more excited about the PlayStation than I was the hole-in-one, and my dad was so excited about the hole-in-one. So that's the story.
Can you tell me about the first golf tournament you ever won?
Wow. Yeah. I was, I think I was 8 or 9 years old. It was a par 3 tournament, so you only play 9 holes on a par 3 course, and it was at Indian Creek, I think is what it was called. Something like that, but it was a par 3 course, and I remember I shot 27, and the next score was 28, and then 30, and I think I beat Sam Rock, which was a good young player, and I was so excited. Afterwards, we went and got ice cream, and that was my first win, and that's when I really fell in love with tournament golf and competing, in golf, and all the nerves and excitement that brings.
You have a very good golf memory. Like, you remember every...
Yeah, it's kind of, I think all golfers have that. You can remember, you could say, hey, this shot at this tournament, explain it. And I'd be like, oh, I probably had 155.
Yeah.
It just kind of comes with golf, I think.
I've asked other players, though, like your first tournament, like Brooks could not remember. And
that doesn't shock me.
Yeah. Some people know exactly. Some people are like, what was I think Max remembered the first time he shot under par, but not the first tournament he ever won. So you went to high school with Christian McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if your high school was big, small, but were you guys pals? Do you have any memories with him during that?
Yeah, so I was close with his brother Max. Max and I graduated together. We're still close buddies. Christian kind of hung out with our crew just because he was close with his brother. And then he played, obviously, up in everything. Christian was so talented. And so he was always hanging around us. So, yeah, we were buddies. I was obviously around him more because I was with his brother. But as we've gotten older, we've, I think, both really respected what each other does in our craft. And, I'm a huge fan of his, and I think he's, a fan of mine. And he's gotten into golf, which is funny because he really wasn't into golf in high school, and now he likes it. And so he's kind of asking me questions and wants to get more involved. And hopefully one day we'll play, the AT&T Pro-Am or some Pro-Am together and enjoy that. But
Did you play high school basketball?
I did.
What's your game like?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I loved basketball. For the longest time, I thought I was going to be, that was going to be my career. But yeah, it was pretty good. I have really good handles. I can shoot. Everyone always said I had good, like court vision and IQ on the basketball court. I just didn't grow until later after I quit basketball. So I was always a little undersized, which obviously hurts when you're playing high school basketball against 6'8", 6'9" kids, and I was, 5'7" or whatever it was. So, but I loved basketball. I trained really hard in it, and I still think I'm pretty decent. I can kind of ball.
Do you still ever play or like shoot?
No, I get a little worried about injury. So, I mean, I would love to go play pickup basketball because it's one of my favorite things to do. But I watch when people do play pickup, they get maybe a little too into it, and you always hear of guys tearing ACLs or breaking ankles, and I don't want to do that. Yeah, not worth it. So I do miss it, though.
Yeah. Dylan over there plays in a basketball league and got a black eye last week, but 2 weeks ago maybe.
Yeah, it was like black until yesterday.
It's probably a good decision. All right, your caddy, John, he was the assistant coach at your school. How did he end up on your bag?
So he was assistant coach at Oregon the 1 year I was there. And John and I kind of instantly, I think, hit it off and connected. We had some mutual friends, actually guys that live here in Arizona that I hang out with. And when he comes into town, we all hang out together. So we had those mutual friends before we even met. And so when we did meet, we kind of connect on that level. And then I think he connected with me as far as he knew I was going to be turning pro. And so he kind of took me under his wing and was trying to help me with what all that is and what it takes to be a pro golfer. And so fast forward, done with my career in college, I go onto WYNDHAM. He came and caddied for me for 2 events, and we finished 13th and 2nd, and that essentially locked up my PGA Tour card. I asked if he'd caddy the rest of the year, and he's like, "No, unfortunately with my family, it's too much time, and I don't know if I can justify making that work." So I said, okay, and finished out the rest of the year. And then as I got my tour card, I was like, "Well, would you come out and caddy for me on the PGA Tour?" And he goes, "You know what? I think I would love to do that." And so that's kind of how it came about.
Why do you think you work well together?
I think it's a great combination of friendship and kind of a mentor combined. And so, we're 100% friends. It's 100% business. But then there's also that kind of mentor. He is older than me. He was my coach, to where he can kind of, in those key moments, both in life and on the golf course, he can kind of put on that mentor coaching hat and say, "Hey, snap out of it," or give me words of encouragement that I really listen to. And so I think that's huge. And then, then we have so much fun together too. It's not just a business relationship. We're always messing around. We joke a lot. We play a lot of cards, like gin together. We do vacations with our families together. And so we've become really close.
You attended the Waste Management as a fan, right?
Yeah.
Like a couple of years ago, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
What was that experience like?
So I attended it actually as a player fan. So okay. I played in the event, missed the cut.
Mm-hmm.
And living here, it's obviously the Super Bowl every year for us, the Super Bowl of golf, at least here. It's a big event. All my friends go. And so I had, majority of my friends were at the tournament. And they're all like, "Come out, come hang out with us. Let's have some fun." And I don't think I've attended a golf event since college, for fun. And so I was a little reluctant, but, that event's so different. And we went to 16 and I was with all my buddies. We're having fun. And so I really enjoyed it. And I could kind of get away from it. I could kind of watch and see it. And but also just have fun with my friends and enjoy golf from a different perspective. So it's kind of cool seeing both sides of it. I definitely prefer to be inside the ropes hitting golf shots than I do on the outside. But, that event is really fun to spectate.
Most of us will never win a professional golf tournament, let alone a major. What is it like to win a U.S. Open?
Well, it definitely changes your life. My life has changed quite a bit since then. I won a PGA Tour event, and it's that changes your life as a pro golfer forever. You're kind of in this really cool fraternity of being a PGA Tour winner, and there's a lot of things that come with that, and it was amazing. But when you win a major, it's like a different fraternity of now you're kind of in that potential to try to be in the Hall of Fame, and hopefully as your career progresses, maybe one of the legends of golf. And everything that comes with that is so much exposure, and now people really watch what I do, and then to win your country's major championship was really neat too. Being an American kid, it's kind of the pinnacle. You want to win that, and so it was really neat. I mean, it's obviously my greatest accomplishment in golf thus far, and I'll always hold those 4 days and that whole week really close to my heart.
Not a golf question. Can you describe your perfect day off?
Mm-hmm. It's pretty simple. It would be fishing all day. Fishing somewhere beautiful on a river in the mountains that leads to a great meal, sitting by the fire with ice cream, probably sipping a little whiskey or tequila and listen to music. I mean, that would be like the perfect, most zen, relaxing day for me.
So I just watched your Netflix episode, which I loved, and probably my favorite character was Julie, your sports psychologist.
Yes. Not me.
Second favorite, sorry.
Okay.
What's like a big takeaway you have that you think any athlete could take away from something you've learned from her?
I'd say for anyone is just like your mind is a muscle, and if you don't train it, it's never going to grow. And so many people find themselves in ruts and they complain about things, or maybe they're always being the victim of stuff. And I was one of those. So I'm saying this from experience, that I always was negative and living in that negative world. And she told me, she's like, nothing's going to change unless you train it and work it. Your brain's a muscle, so you have to work it out. And so that's where we started working on that. And then there's so many things that involve in that. But as I did that, I started feeling better, both on and off the golf course. My relationships got better. I was able to get away from golf where I wasn't before. It carried into my social life and my personal life off the golf course, which is not healthy. And so it's amazing what it's done, because it's now allowed me to play golf at the highest level, but then also live life at the highest level. So I'm a huge proponent of working on your mental game.
What would you say to somebody, probably men, who a lot of men don't want to work with a therapist or a sports therapist, who's maybe thinking about taking that step and working with somebody?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Everyone thinks working with a therapist means something's wrong with you, and I don't think you should look at it that way. I think you should look at it as a way as if you had a trainer in the gym, or a swing coach in golf, or whatever it is. This is someone to help grow your mind, and don't look at it as a crutch or you're weak. Look at it as you getting stronger in that area. So kind of maybe turn that negative connotation towards it to something positive. And I was one of those people. I thought it made me look weak, but it's amazing how much it's made me stronger. And so I mean, that would be my advice, is just, and even if you keep it quiet, maybe don't tell people, but go do it. It's amazing what you'll feel and how much will come out from that, and it just makes your life so much better and a more joy-filled life.
So this is my final one. It's kind of a 3-part thing. I've been asking people in their professional golf career, maybe a low, a high, and something that they've learned.
Okay. So low. Man, I've had a lot of lows. One of the lows I had, professional career. Okay.
Whatever, though. It could be AM career.
In college, one of the lowest ones I had, I walked off the golf course. I was at Oklahoma State, and we were in qualifying. It was the 13th hole, and I hit a bad shot, and for some reason I just snapped. And then literally snapped a club, and was embarrassed and mad and everything. And I stormed off, walked off the golf course, got in my car, and just started driving. Drove really fast, and just drove for a long time, and just didn't even want to go back. And obviously there's a lot of repercussions that go with that. And some of that was me ultimately leaving Oklahoma State and having to go somewhere else. But it was definitely a low point. I didn't know if I'd ever play golf again. Was embarrassed to face the teammates on my team. Was at a low point. A lot of it was due to my mom's passing. So that was definitely a low point. High points, obviously last year was pretty amazing. I think winning Quail Hollow was probably the high point, even though people think the major was. That was awesome. But breaking through and having my first PGA Tour win, and to do it where it was just my caddy John and I, we were the only two there. We celebrated together. We got to enjoy that moment because he's endured the really tough moments that we've had and all the bad, and then to win and kind of get to enjoy that together was really special. And then what I've learned is probably one of the biggest things is probably like accepting the journey. I really thought coming out of college I would win right away and have a lot of success, and it bothered me that I didn't. And I think I pressed too much to try to control all of that, and now I've kind of taken and let go of the reins a little bit and just allowed things to happen, and whatever does happen, I accept it. And when I kind of let go of that, it's amazing how now my career has started to take off. And so just learning to accept the journey and whatever comes with that, and just embrace and enjoy it. And it's been way more fun, even though I've had success in this last year and a half. It's been more fun. Even I know winning is fun, but even the times I haven't played good, I've had more fun and enjoyed it, and looked at it more as a growth all the time and always learning versus so much result based. So
awesome. Thank you for sharing those.
Yeah.
I like those answers. All right, that's all I've got.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
It's good ice cream.
Good, it is good, right? Thanks for watching The Scoop. I hope you all enjoyed it. Make sure to hit that subscribe button because we have a lot of fun guests coming your way.